Powder grinding sucks, plain and simple. But with the entirety of late game mining locked behind it, we all got to do it at some point. So in this video, I will detail everything you'll need to make the process a little less painful. Let's jump right into it. Just a quick thing before we get into the Heart of the Mountain tree you'll need. You can technically powder grind with Heart of the Mountain 6, but I would strongly recommend you do some commissions and get to 7 to really get your time's worth when powder grinding. Besides that, the tree that you'll need looks something like this. First off, you're going to want to grab Mining Speed and Mining Fortune, obviously, and then you're going to go right into Daily Powder and Efficient Miner, and then off to the left to grab Seasoned Mine Man and Mining Madness. Now for the perks above Peak of the Mountain, what you're going to want to grab is Mole, Fortunate, and Great Explorer for off to the right, and off to the left you're going to want Professional, Lonesome Miner, and Vein Seeker. Now if you have Heart of the Mountain 7, which I suggest, you're going to want to get Powder Buff, because Powder Buff is the greatest perk you can have for when you're doing powder grinding, as it will give you plenty more powder, which at the end of the day, that's a win-win. Now in terms of where you want to actually dump your mithril powder in, the perks you want to upgrade are Mining Speed, but you're going to want to do that after you max out Daily Powder. You'll want Daily Powder to be maxed out fully. It doesn't take all that much, but it does give you that 4,000 base powder for both that I spoke about, which is almost necessary. It's a great boost. Other than that, just make sure you grab Mining Madness and then dump the rest into Mining Speed. Nothing else really matters all that much. In terms of up here, what you do need to max out, there's 3 specifically. You need to max out Powder Buff as high as you can, Mole, and Great Explorer. Now, you want to get Powder Buff as high as you can, but what's most important is your Mole and your Great Explorer specifically. You want your Great Explorer to be as high as you can, but it's a pretty great rule of thumb to keep your Great Explorer and try to make it half of what your Mole is. Now, you don't want to go above Mole 41 because there are some glitches with chests spawning behind blocks that, you can't really see. It's, not really as efficient. So keep this below 40, get this as high as you can, get it to 20, 20, 40, great kind of split, and any extra that you have over, dump that in the Powder Buff and you should be good. Now, in terms of what pet to use, if you're on a budget, I would use the Mithril Golem. You only need an epic one, as we're looking for the second perk, which gives you plus 20% mithril powder when powder grinding. Now, if you have a little bit of money to spend, I would grab yourself a Scatha. With the Scatha, you can either get the rare, epic, or legendary, as they all give 1 powder grinding buff each. However, if you do have the money to grab yourself a Scatha, I would recommend getting a legendary or at least an epic, as these can be used later on as the best mining pet in the game. Note, these are rather expensive, like a lot. So I would recommend the Mithril Golem if you really just don't have the money. So now that we got everything we need, let me show you where to actually go to do the powder grinding. First things first, you're going to want to enter the Precursor Remnants and just dig yourself into any, hardstone wall. It doesn't really matter what. Make sure you dig a decent amount away from the entrance and just any sort of other exterior areas. That way, when you're mining, you don't really have to worry about running out of space or blocks. So I like to mine deep. It doesn't really matter. Just make sure you have enough space. So now that we have enough space down here, all you're going to do is just mine all the hardstone around you and just open chests once they spawn. They should spawn pretty quick. I do believe I got my tree set up for gemstone mining right now, but if you have the tree I gave you, you should just be able to mine around here. Chests will spawn pretty quick. Make sure to use the Vein Seeker ability every time it's off cooldown, so it'll allow you to mine more blocks, getting more chests to spawn. And really, that's all there is to it. Just keep at it for a bit and rack up powder until you have what you need. With this, you should be all set to powder grind and on your way to getting this grueling task over and done with. Happy mining!